Also, I didn't want you to think it was ignoring
There'll be every day.
you. Okay, just so you don't leave.
Well, it's just like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, at 6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll introduce our guests tonight. We have Eric Ferguson from Matina Gibbons. He's going to present our auditor's report. Eric, it's all yours.
On your tablet should be 3 letters, financial statement, and a set of graphs. The first letter, I believe, is on your letterhead. It's signed by Michelle, Rich, and Cheryl, attesting to 45 different items relating to this audit, including that they fulfilled all the responsibilities related to the audit as set forth in the engagement letter, not aware of any fraud, provided us all the information, et cetera, et cetera. There's a couple additional items from prior year letters, but it's essentially the same one we've issued for a few years now. I believe the second letter is a 1-page letter started out in planning and performing our audit. Talks about material mistakes and significant deficiencies, of which we are happy to report we have found none in your case. The third one is a 3-page letter. Starts out, we have audited the financial statements of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information. It does talk about significant audit findings. There were no real findings, but we do note that per GASB rules, you have implemented GASB statements 100 and 101, neither of which had an effect on your financial statements for this year. We point out that there is a significant estimate, which is basically the estimated useful life of your capital assets, and we have agreed with your assessments of that. We do say there were uncorrected, or you have corrected all of the misstatements that we found, and that they were related to your fund balance, your unearned revenue, and depreciation for the material ones. That's it for those. I'll move on to the financial statements. If you look at page Roman numeral 1, that is our auditor's report. The opinion is in the second paragraph. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund and aggregate remaining fund information of Oregon Township as of June 30, 2025, and the respective changes in financial position for the year then headed in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles in the United States. That is unqualified, clean opinion, best we can give you. The report goes on to talk about our basis for the opinion, your responsibilities, and our responsibilities for the audit. We will now spend the bulk of our time in the management's discussion and analysis section, which contains a condensed version of remaining 30-some pages, 26 pages for the financial statements. On Roman numeral 5, at the top of the page is a summary of your net position, or essentially your balance sheet in layman's terms. You can see your current assets increased over the prior year by about $140,000. The current assets is basically your cash and investment type stuff, accounts receivable. Your capital assets increased by about $8,000. That's net of depreciation. Capital assets are like your buildings, your computers, these tables, stuff like that. They get expensed over several years. Your current liabilities are essentially the same year to year. The non-current liabilities went from $132,000 to $0. That was related to the ARPA funds. You spent the remaining portion of your ARPA funds during the year, so there is no chance you're paying anything back to the state. Therefore, it's no longer a liability. So your overall liabilities dropped by about $132,000.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
So, with the ARPA, I just got like the closeout thing. Is that something that you need a copy of? That
I
it was
will for
closed
next
out
year,
and that
yes.
it was all good. Okay, so put that in my.
Yep, for next year.
Okay.
You can see your net position increased by about $282,000, which is a $150,000 increase in assets and a $132,000 decrease in liabilities. So you have an unrestricted net position of about $1.6 million. And that's just the difference between your assets and your liabilities. The bottom half of that page is a summary of changes in your net position, which is in layman's terms is an income statement. You can see your total revenues increased by about $34,000 over the 2024 year end. So you're still at about $1.6 million of revenue. Your total expenses dropped by about $142,000 from the prior year. The vast majority of that was in public works, which you just did a little less road work than you did the prior year. So you had a positive change in your net position of about $282,000 over the prior year. Any questions, or do we need to go into any more detail? If you come up with questions later, you have my contact information.
Yes, I do.
I know it. The last thing to look at is I've got a few graphs here showing some of the same information in pictures versus numbers. Sometimes
It's on their tablet.
Oh, I don't
Sometimes it's a little easier to see in pictures than it is in black and white numbers. The first one is a 2-year comparison of your general fund revenues. You can see that pie chart did not change a whole heck of a lot between the 2 years. You got the same amount of money from the same sources. I expect next year it would change a little bit with the drop off of the ARPA funds not being there. You then have a 10-year comparison of your state share revenues and your property taxes. You can see the property taxes have been on the rise for all 10 years while the state share revenue dropped off for a couple of years. not quite back to the 2023 level yet. The next one, again, is a 10-year comparison of the same two, except they're combined. The next one is a pie chart showing 2 years of your general fund expenditures. You can see the public works shrunk quite a bit. It allowed the others to grow as far as their percentage, not so much in their dollars, but their percentage of what you spend. The next one's a 10-year chart, shows a little better the difference in dollars spent versus the percentage. The next one is a comparison of your revenues and expenditures for each of the last 10 years. You can see which years you brought in a little more than you spent and vice versa. And the last one is just a comparison of the fund balance of the general fund for the last 10 years. Any questions? And with that, I am done with what I brought.
Anyone done with him?
We have you on our, is like the first motion to approve that, so I don't know if you need to see that or
Nope.
if you want me to just send you.
Just send me a copy of the board minutes.
Okay,
It'll be there.
okay,
Your F-65 is ready for review and submission.
okay,
We talked about that.
Yep.
So at this point, you can do that. And as soon as I see the board minutes, I can, even a draft of them, I can submit the financials to the state.
okay, so that F-65, will you be sending that to me or I log into that?
You log into that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on that when you're ready, let me know.
okay,
I can walk you through that too.
okay. I will do that tomorrow.
Great.
Thank you, have a good Christmas.
You too. Thank you.
Safe
Thanks,
travel.
Sarah.
I'll tell you,
Slippery.
I'd tell you to crack a cold one, but a hot toddy would probably be better.
Drive carefully, Eric. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Happy New Year's.
Okay, we'll move on. I just wanna make sure everybody signs in that's here. We're gonna change the public comment, the first one a little bit. We're gonna limit that to what's on the agenda items only. And then we'll have a second public comment after that. We move on to consent agenda.
Oh, you gotta be public.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Mark, I'm sorry.
A couple items he brought up with our finances. One was, it seemed like we had plus $34,000.
Oh, yes, it does have.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the first one he talked about.
Yeah, say that again, I was,
That's a good thing, we had $34,000, but then on another count, he says what we brought in and what we spent, we actually ended up with $282,000. And my question would be, why couldn't this township afford 2 or 3 truckloads of gravel on Stanley Road before somebody gets killed going over that hill? There's no ditch, they've lowered the road so much that the other driveway is washing out. And we've talked about that before, and it sounds like we have enough money to do it. For some reason, there's been a gravel truck, a train of gravel trucks going down Stanley Road this week. I don't know if that, I don't know where they're taking the gravel, but I mean, at least 10 trucks. I don't know if you know where all that gravel's going.
I don't
But
know.
anyway, it just seems like we got enough money to get a few loads of gravel. It's it's about $500 for 10 yards, and probably 3 or 4 truckloads would do it to bring that road back up before head-on collision is gonna occur. I mean, I've watched the cars, it's close, especially when they're heading up the hill from the east there, cause Jim's mailbox is, they pull it into the center of the road. And now they're 125 feet, I paced it off from the top of the hill. And a car on the other side, 75 foot down, you can't see the car. So there's no way they're not gonna have a head-on collision for the sake of a few loads of gravel. And this board right here is gonna be responsible when that accident happens, and it will. We've had cars before crash there. And it's, the hill is worse now. And because the gravel road is so improved, which I thank you for, it's like blacktop. I mean, it really isn't, it's never been that good since I've lived there. That's increased the speed of everybody going over that hill. And that makes it more dangerous.
Like I told you before, we're working on that stretch next.
I know, but I'm just worried about, because they're still hauling gravel, I hate to think that we're gonna be through the winter without having an accident, really. Thank you.
Yep. Any more public comment on the agenda? Okay, we'll move on to consent agenda. Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll support that.
Is that you, Wayne?
Yeah.
Place,
Yes.
Joseph, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Cummins.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to supervisory report. I don't have much to go on there, so we'll move on to clerk's report.
So I have, election and cemetery's been quiet. Obviously working on the audit with the auditor, reviewing hardship special assessment info, reviewing special assessments for police and fire. We're figuring out how to streamline efficiency within the department, paying bills, payroll, etc. Reviewing ordinances, and then I also have that there has been a resident that has gone to some public meetings that are caught on video and has accused the township of doing things that are untrue, and in my opinion, is publicly slandering us. I would like, if anyone has any problems, questions, or concerns, that you call and set up a meeting with one of us to discuss before going out and spreading rumors. That's all I got.
Cheryl?
The November treasurer's report is up on the table if anybody would like it. The winter tax bills have been sent. A lot of people received them on December 1st, just like they're supposed to. The last day to pay the summer or winter 25 taxes on time would be February 17th, 2026. The last day to pay the township this year is March 2nd, 2026, which is a little different than it has been in the past, just because of where February 14th fell in the calendar, pushed those dates out legally. So that's all I have.
Okay, we'll move on to the assessor's report. Deb's not here, but in the month of November, she had 19 deeds were recorded, 0 splits, 0 approved, 0 combination approved, and 0 lot adjustments. The sheriff's deputy's report, there was 148 total calls, with 107 of them handled by officers in the month of November. Fire department had 4 responses for Oregon Township. Marathon didn't have any. Construction code report, there was 5 permits issued and 2 permits finalized. Wayne, anything for the transit?
No meeting.
Okay. We'll move on to Lapeer County EMS. There was a total of 36 calls, and they were all Lapeer County EMS. The ZBA did not meet in November due to nothing on the agenda.
Well, actually, no, we had our, that shouldn't be like that, ZBA and TC
We
had
had
a
our special meeting,
yeah.
you're correct. the cemetery,
Nothing,
okay?
quiet.
Roads we're pretty much done with, nothing on finished business. Move on to the new business. I make a motion to approve the auditor's report as presented for the 24-25 year.
I'll support it.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Joseph, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt the regular board meeting dates for 2026 as presented.
I'll support that.
And I made sure to look to make sure there wasn't any holidays, and there was not, so. Place,
Yes.
Joseph, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes. Okay, I make a motion to approve the 2026 township holidays as presented.
I'll support that.
Joseph, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt the Board of Review 2026 meeting dates and procedure resolution as presented.
I'll support it.
Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Joseph, yes.
Moving on, discussion regarding the hardship exemption special assessment. Brought our attention that we had some numbers that didn't work out, so as we did, you wanna explain it? You probably know more.
Well, Cheryl came up, with some $160 was missing. We figured out it had to do with the special assessment, dug a little deeper and found out that by law, we're supposed to be charging poverty exempt people the, police and fire assessments. So,
All assessments, isn't it?
well, yeah,
Yeah,
all,
both,
right
yes.
now, we just have police and fire, but if we were to have another one, then they would have to be charged that as well. So any special assessment that we have, they're supposed to be poverty exempt residents should be paying all special assessments. So there's a letter in your packets that was from the lawyer that states that. So why it was being done the other way, we don't really have any clarification on it, but we just know that moving forward that, we need to do it by what the law says. So we need to make to adopt a hardship, exemption qualification that states that they have to pay the special assessments. I don't know if you have any questions about it, but that's what happened, and it was a whole Pandora's box.
It's just one question after another.
There again, if it's the law, we almost need to,
Make it happen.
so, with that being said, I make a motion to adopt the 2026 hardship exemption qualification, having them
As presented with,
as presented, there we go, as presented with property exemption residents paying all special assessments.
I'll support that.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Okay, move on. Make a motion to approve sending the treasurer to the MMTA 2026 workshop held the 15th and 16th of January at a cost of $375 plus meals and mileage.
I'll second it. Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on. I make a motion to approve the law enforcement contract as presented in an amount of $101,706.22.
So that's just one deputy,
That is just one deputy, correct?
we'll support that.
That's
We
down
were-
below here. Oh, you want?
No, that's at the
Yeah,
discussion
we're
part.
gonna do that
There's no
for
discussion there.
final now.
That has to do with the social assessment for later. Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes,
Place.
Yes.
Here's where we're at.
okay. Now, we're gonna have a discussion on the police and fire special assessment. It was 6 years, correct? And that's coming up, so we need to update it. We could go forward doing it as far as 10 years. We need to, right now, we're gonna go back to the one officer. If we do 2 officers, we're gonna have to raise
We got,
the,
it's this sheet in there that has the different prices, so it's, if you don't have it, you can borrow mine. It should be in your packet that's on the tablet.
Okay, I was looking for that and went right to the, report, so we just,
So this is where we're, this is current.
okay,
And then if we, this is what we currently collect the amount, so what if we go up for, if it were 40 or 20? So that's, this makes us,
But you guys met with the fire chief, right?
yeah.
And those rates are going up too, right?
we don't have marathons yet, but the Lapeers are in place until,
yeah.
30.
So 30.
I think they go up gradually.
They are at the same price now for the, until,
You know,
from now, from last year
Yeah.
until we're done.
Done, okay.
And marathons, I don't think we'll get till August, so.
I went down
So if we go back in June to 2 officers, it would raise the residents' cost up to $73 per household.
And
One-
the fire to 64, right?
Correct. So do we wanna stay with 1 officer and do that, or do we want, if
Well,
we're
so
gonna go to?
the procedure is, we have to decide now, because there's so many publications that have to go out, and in order to piggyback it with the assessments that already go out, so a special publication doesn't have to go out for the
So
cost.
when those assessments go out, Michelle, our public knows what we're thinking about, but it's not finalized, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, go ahead.
So, on that, it needs to either state that we want, we don't specify on there the amount of officers, we just specify the amount of money. So the specifications, you can keep that if you need it.
I got it.
Oh, you found it? Okay, so so on the form that would need to get sent out in January would have the price of the 204,480 that would go out. And in essence, we could, put that on the form, have our public hearing in March, have another one in June, and if we decide to go backwards to just the 105,000, we can. But if we put 105,000 on our paperwork going out to the residents now, we can't change it to the 204 later. Does that make sense?
And this way, in doing that, we give the people that, like, so somewhere along the lines, I've already had a couple people at the window say, and I think it's because their son's a police officer, so I'm sure that, she heard something from him. But she said, I heard you guys might go down to one police officer, and I thought, well, we haven't really talked about that all the way through. But if we give the most expensive, like how expensive it would be for two, which if you add the $64 and the $73 together, that comes to $137. Divide that by 12, that's $11.42 a month for our residents. Now, statistically, people waste that much money a month at Tim Hortons, McDonald's, or Starbucks, that coffee. So, I don't know, if they don't go to McDonald's, maybe they have a different thing that they do, but I'm thinking that for the Commonwealth of our township and community, that would be good. And putting the information out there now will give the residents an opportunity to say, oh, well, that's, too much. If we come down to, either way, the fire is going up because, of the increase, so that would be $64 a month anyway. And the $64 with just the $40 in place would be $104 divided by 12, which is only $867. So this way, getting the information, that's not much of a price difference. That's just a few dollars between, from 12, if you round it off, $12 to $9, that's a $3 difference for police officers. And I think that our residents would want two instead of one, but it gives our residents an opportunity to say how they feel about spending more on a special assessment. And then by the time we come to March, when we're figuring out our budget, we'll hear from our public and we'll know a little bit more of how they feel. And then we can plan better in March, and then in June we will finalize. So really, our residents have 6 months to let us know how they feel about stuff, to help us make a decision for them. So we're not doing it alone, but you can't, in other words, if we don't put the most expensive thing out there so they know what we're thinking, we can't all of a sudden up it, because of course they would be upset then. So I feel like it's better.
Well, we can't by law
Yeah.
anyways, because
Okay,
we have to put whatever number we put on the
Yeah.
publications has to be.
So I feel like giving them
Worst
all the
case
information, we can get all the feedback back, and that will help us make a best decision.
If it goes from $40 to $73, that's an 83% increase. My opinion, from a resident standpoint, I think if we're gonna have that big of an increase, it almost should go on the ballot for a special millage instead of
But-
5 people
But this,
making the decision for 50. This is my opinion, though. We have the power to do it, but I struggle with that big of an increase. I don't know, we can do the special meetings and do whatever, but we're
We
gonna
have
go
to.
down.
We
we
we're-
have to by, we
Yeah.
have to by law, so
Correct.
our public would
Yes.
come here.
So we're gonna drop down to 1, and we're gonna have 6 months to see. I don't think it's gonna make a difference, we're still gonna have the coverage, but come June, so, yeah, we can put the higher amount in.
But we still are able to keep one, should we be satisfied
Come,
with it?
Yeah.
the board has a decision come June to make the call for whether it's gonna be for 1 officer or for 2. Or at that time, can we decide we wanna put it on the ballot? Or do we need to do that now?
To put it on the ballot is,
I don't know, I'm just asking. So, we can stay with this way.
well, if we were to put it on the ballot then, and the ballot gets not voted on, this is gone, we have no police.
And then that whole Commonwealth of the special assessment is gone for all of our residents. We're the
Yeah.
caretakers of that, Rich.
No, and that's fine, I'm just asking. Okay, so,
Do you guys have a opinion?
Well, I think you'd go with a higher price and,
then work it out.
you don't wanna go low.
Okay,
No, because we can't do anything about it if we do.
And you guys
You
think
can always
that,
backpedal, but you can't ask for more, you know.
so do we wanna go for 10 years instead of a 6-year for this, the resolutions?
Now I think we go with 6 years,
6 years.
why do you say 6?
just so it can be looked at again.
It can still be looked at because in the paperwork,
I think
it says that the assessments can get, like the amounts can get changed per year depending on what the prices are. So our special assessment prices can get changed for the residents depending on what the prices are for the police and the fire. But I guess my thing is I'm not really quite sure what that year's part really entails, because like our police contract, we can get out of it now within a 30-day notice, so.
Same with the fire if we wanted to.
I don't really know the difference. I know like Marathon has theirs for 10, but they raise their price for theirs every year.
I think previously they've done it here every 10 years. Haven't they?
I don't know, there was, like, the fire
So is
one
there
is, the fire one was at,
I think the last one
Is
was
there
every
advantage
10.
from 6 to 10?
I don't know, that's why I was asking.
So why don't we just leave it as status quo as 6 years and
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so,
we'll go with 6 years. You need 2 there. And the cost of the residents up to $73.
73 and then the 64.
And 64 for the fire.
So then we have to do a motion.
Yeah, it's gonna be 6 down there, right? Okay, I make a motion to approve the police and fire protection special assessment district to be created for 6 years. The first public hearing will be held Tuesday, March 10th at 7 o'clock in 2026. The second public hearing will be held Tuesday, June 9th of 26 at 7 o'clock.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Ossip, yes, Barber,
yes.
Van Bell.
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion to approve to set the budget meeting date for Tuesday, June 9th of 2026 at 7 o'clock.
Say that one more time.
I make a motion to approve to set the budget meeting date for Tuesday, June 9th of 2026 at 7 p.m.
I'll second that.
Place,
Yes.
Ossip, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens.
Yes. Okay, I make a motion to adopt the credit card policy as presented.
I'll second that.
Ossip, yes, Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place.
Yes.
So these next, sorry, I'm
We
gonna
got one
jump
more.
in. I know, no, I was just gonna,
Yeah, but we got to, this one, yeah,
I know I was gonna make a comment about them beforehand.
but we got the payment here. Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna let you guys know that the
Oh.
reason,
Okay.
no, I was just gonna let you guys know the reason behind the credit card, the EFT, and the automatic payments is to make the office work a little bit more efficiently with payments, because there's certain bills that we get that we have to pay them no matter what, and there were some that she was holding on to till after the meeting, and it, to me, that just could cause, they could get forgotten to get mailed, and it just makes things streamline better if we're able to, just send those out directly that are bills that we have all the time that we don't have a choice about. So anything else that is, obviously requires a motion, all of that will stay the same. And obviously all the payments and everything are available for anybody to look at it anytime, so that's all just wanted to explain a little bit for everybody.
Okay, all right, I make a motion to adopt the EFT ACH payment policy as presented.
Support that.
Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes.
Okay, I make a motion to adopt the automatic payments, credit card payments, and immediate check issuance resolution as presented.
Support.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
now it's your
Yeah.
spot.
Yep, okay. So the next 13 motions are to adopt the ordinance to allow the Bureau to allow us to be able to write tickets. Ordinance are staying the same, it's just giving the authority so we can issue a civil infraction ticket for it.
That comes and gets paid here versus the courthouse.
Okay, so moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 304, an ordinance to amend blight ordinance number 300.3 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support it.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 311, on ordinance to amend nutritious weed.
noxious.
Noxious weed ordinance
They might
number
be nutritious.
310 to revise penalty provision as presented.
I'll support that.
Which one, was that you, Wayne?
Had coffee in my mouth.
Okay, good. Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes. Okay. Moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 608.1, an ordinance to amend building, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing code enforcement ordinance number 608 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 1001, an ordinance to amend dangerous building ordinance number 1000 to create a penalty provision as presented.
Support that.
Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1601, an ordinance to amend noise ordinance number 1600 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support that.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1610.1, an ordinance to amend off-road recreational vehicles ordinance number 1610 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 5001, municipality penalty, civil infraction and appearance ticket ordinance, and municipality violation bureau ordinance as presented.
I'll support that.
Place,
Yes.
Osip, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Van Bell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes. Moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 9001, an ordinance to amend engineering standard ordinance number 9,000, revised penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 9101, an ordinance to amend outdoor furnace ordinance number 9100 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Barber,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osa, yes. I just wanna wait, I saw the answer.
Okay. Moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 9203, an ordinance to amend medical marijuana ordinance number 9202 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Campbell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 9301, an ordinance to amend township cemetery ordinance number 9300 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
oh, sorry. Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
I start my car.
Okay, motion to adopt ordinance number 9501, an ordinance to amend outdoor lighting ordinance 9500 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Place,
Yes.
Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes. Okay, moving on, I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 9601, an ordinance to amend Township of Oregon electrical service in excess of 200 amps ordinance number 9600 to revise penalty provision as presented.
Support.
Osa, yes. Barber,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, I make a motion to approve purchasing municipality civil infraction notice of violation books at a cost of $288.80 plus shipping.
Obviously now, once we have all these, we need to have a ticket open.
I'll support that.
Barber,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Place,
Yes.
Osa, yes.
Okay, we'll move on to second public comment. Ken?
I am the vermin that Miss Michelle was talking about. I went to the road commission to get some answers. They sat with me after the meeting and explained to me that the excessive bid that we were given was actually a bid that contained contingency fees in case something went sideways. That they were only going to bill us for actual costs. Furthermore, I found out that the contractor that we went with ended up tearing down power lines in the process of doing the job. And they looked at me and said, "You realize who's responsible for that if his insurance doesn't pay it?" I went, "Yeah, the contractee, which is us." I was called in by Miss Michelle. She read me the riot act, kept asking me if this was just revenge on rich, revenge on rich. I have been politically active in this county for a long time, over 18 years. I actually got the first constable fired that was issuing tickets because he came to the house wearing a gun over a truck in the yard. Now, as a political figure, you're going to get crap you don't want to hear. And Miss Michelle thought it was really funny as long as I was dealing with the commissioners and everybody else. But when it comes to home turf and you want answers, everybody is offended. Well, I'm going to tell you guys something you should know. As I picked up the papers, Miss Michelle told me were my copy that she was reading off to me, and said there's no point in continuing this. I headed for the door. Your Miss Michelle proceeded to run across the office, jump on my back, and pound on me with a closed fist. She pounded on my left shoulder, yanked, grabbed. You didn't sign for that, you didn't sign for that, you didn't sign for that. Grabbed the papers. I said, fine. But she hit me doing her job. At the meeting we had, there was a lady here filming. When I walked her to her car, she wanted to know who the lady in the sweater was. And I asked her why. She said because she had walked over to her, reached down, opened her bag, and looked in it. I said, just wanted to know who you were and who you were filming for. But know that she hit me when I was trying to leave the building. You do with it what you will. She has taught me one thing. You can only be politically active if you have the approval of the people you're looking at. To be politically active does you no good. I have always said what I've had to say publicly. I'm not going to stop participating. But no, she hit me. And if it happens again, I'm telling you, I will treat her just like I would a man. If anybody would like to talk to me about it, I have an open door policy.
All done, Ken?
Would you like me to leave now?
Nope. You're fine. Any more public comment?
Oh, go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead.
Rhonda Laura, I'd like to say a few things about the accomplishments of the library board over the last year. In March, they drove off the library director, Danielle Brigatti, through insults and disrespect, as widely reported in the Lapeer County press. They also instituted a policy of prayer at the beginning of meetings. Bonnie Lawrence, one of the sitting board members, researched 80 other library districts of our size in Michigan, and none of them had prayer, and there was not public support for prayer, but the board majority went ahead and did that. In June, they drove off the children's department head, Mary Cowles, and she said in her resignation letter, quote, "Their lack of support for the library mission, its staff, and the community has been deeply disheartening and antithetical to their role as trustees." In August, they drove off the adult department head and the third director, the branch department head. They also tried to stop purchasing books for the LDL without researching how that purchasing happened. If they had researched, they would realize that the 4 people they drove off were the people who purchased the books. They still continued in October to try to stop the purchasing of books without realizing that they were going to forfeit $20,000 that had been set aside for purchasing books for the year. But they still tried. They were backed off. They moved the meetings to the mornings so fewer people could participate. They also racked up legal bills that were almost four times the cost of their legal bills in 2024 with the library expert legal company Foster Swift. So their bills are approaching $15,000. I want to say that I realize Chris Van Velde, your trustee, has been appointed to the library board. I hope he's prepared to be part of an intellectual community. Librarians, educators, and bibliophiles are intelligent people. I hope you're well read, from Geoffrey Chaucer to Dostoevsky. I hope you will support the LDL patrons and not simply a political agenda. I hope you don't turn out to be a fundamentalist Philistine.
Okay, any more public comment? Bob?
I would like to, I was happy to see the announcement in the taxes about registering your property, so that you can get notice if somebody files a claim against you that you're not aware of. And I did go down and register mine and thank them for, Amy Stearns was the one who got that going, I guess, for Lapeer County. And I would recommend everybody else to do the same. I'd like to say something about what was said about the library board. And it's, what's offensive to some people is not offensive to others. And just because you have a different view of what's going on, there's no need for name calling of the people that's trying to do a job. And to insult them as far as how they've read or what they've read is inappropriate.
Any more, Bob?
No, I'm done.
Okay, Mark?
On the changes that you, 12 or how many of them they were, when can I get a copy of that?
When will your minutes be done?
You want a copy of like all of them? There will
Yes, I
be-
want to see, because we spent a year on that.
So we didn't change, the only thing we changed,
You can
Mark,
look at it tonight if you want.
we didn't change the ordinance itself. The only thing we did is changed it so we had the authority to be able to write somebody a ticket for a fine.
Because you're bringing that authority into the township versus the fellow we hired before.
It used to be done through construction code.
Yes,
Now,
you are getting rid of them, which you said you.
so now
you're
all,
not.
they'll still do stuff, but our deputy will be able to do it, and when we write a ticket, instead of going to the court, it will come to us, the money.
It's a revenue generating procedure.
What?
Revenue generating procedure.
It's not,
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it's not completely to generate revenue. It's so that we actually have some sort of, instead of just a slap on the hand, because we send a letter that says, hey, can you clean up your yard, clean up your junk, do this, do that, and they don't do it.
Or if it's an unlicensed vehicle, our deputy has no control to force them to do it. Now, we have a little more, for the blight and everything else, we have a little more control. But as far as the ordinance itself, it's the same verbiage. All we did is added the
That's why all of these said penalty provision as prevented. Oh, sorry.
In other words, now there's a fine, instead of just sending a letter, there's a fine. So people, I mean, they're gonna take care of their business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I question it because you allow storage units to sit up behind their place now, and you just took that to your own doing without going to the committee that spent a year writing those ordinances. So I'm just concerned that you're now making some changes again. Just the folks right here doing it without much input from other folks, like taxpayers.
Well, this change actually came directed from our police officer, because he said, I don't know why you're sending me out here to do these things when there's nothing I can really do. So if you were to have this, where you could do a civil infraction, there's a little bit more that I can do. So then we discussed with the we discussed it here, we discussed with the lawyer, and then the lawyer showed us what we could do to actually create this civil infraction bureau so that we could do the tickets.
Yeah, well,
if
I
we're
like
gonna-
the explanation you gave. you know.
If we're gonna have an ordinance, Mark, we need to enforce it.
Yeah.
If we can't enforce it, why do we have the ordinance? And that's the point, we didn't have no control of enforcing it to make it stand. So that's what we did.
So now, when you, let's say somebody has a violation that you discovered, and you're gonna send our deputy out? Or who is gonna go out and say, fix that?
I think the
First, we're gonna
board
send a letter.
still- Yeah, we still get a letter.
We're not out to take money, but if we can send as many letters before to we're blue in the face, and if they don't respond to it, there's a lot that we can't do. So this is just giving us a little more control to enforce it a little more, and then it can go downtown if they don't pay their ticket.
So who is gonna issue the ticket?
It'd be our so.
Our deputy,
So
that's
the
what, who's actually
So
gonna
the
issue
supervisor, any of the supervisor, actually the clerk, construction code can write a ticket, our deputy can write a ticket, and who else am I forgetting?
Animal control,
Animal control,
the fire department.
the fire department, our fire chief, or anybody for him, if they have a fire, they can, if they're driving by and see something, they have the control also. The way it was before, our deputy couldn't write them a ticket to move the car, because they don't have that control. This is making it now that we have, as far as us changing anything, all it did was give us control to be able to enforce it strong.
At one point, we actually employed a constable to take care of that.
And we could do that again, but we're trying to do it in-house to be able to have, so it's not per se gonna cost us anything. Before, Jill used to do it, and they paid her, but
No,
if
Jill did the zoning,
zoning was,
but she
okay,
did not write.
do they, okay,
She did not do that.
right, so that's where we're at with that.
Thanks for the explanation.
Okay, we'll move on to board comment. Ken, I just wanna kind of address the road commission. Had we approved that contract for the thing? Yes. I had a meeting with them, and they changed their price after I told them what Randy's price was. I don't, even though Randy is a friend of mine, Randy does work for all the other townships mowing, not all of them, but 9 or 10 of them. I don't kiss and tell on the price. If I had, Randy would have come in 90 grand. So when I had the meeting, they wanted to know why I didn't give them any work. I put it on all my cards on the table. And they said, well, we can rebid it. I said, if you want to. I presented it to the board, and the board agreed to go with Green Excavating. As far as the truck, that was 2 contractors. We had the ditching and we had the gravel spread. Yes, the contractor took down the truck driver took down, not the contractor. If his insurance don't pay, we have the trucking company that supplied us the gravel. We went through the road commission for the gravel so we could get our,
Allocation money.
correct. So, I agree, they said they padded it. My opinion is, as a businessman, if one guy can bid it, and he's guaranteeing that price, why would we wanna bid it for 100? And it could be less, but it could be more even. That's why I brought it to the board. We did not do anything because Randy's my friend. It is a business decision. I don't think we did anything wrong. It saved the township quite a bit of money. Now that was Reamer Road. Now if we wanna go to Stanley Road, same thing. The road commission bid it, Randy bid it. Randy was $27,000 less on a $64,000 job. To me, it's common sense. Why wouldn't you take the lower price and get as good, if not better, job? We had a problem several times with their grading because they don't have experienced operators no more. They did a lot better the last time. We did the brine, like Mark says. I think it's gonna help us down the road, but I'm not doing anything illegal. You should always get 2 bids, and that's what we did. The board went with the lower bid. I don't see where that's a problem. I think it's a plus. It showed in our audit report that we saved money, and that's where some of it's from. So that's all I got to say.
I have a question,
Sure.
maybe you can help me with this.
Sure.
I'm a little confused on the whole wire cut
So
thing,
when
'cause I
they
thought
were-
that was the road commission that did that.
So when they were spreading the gravel, the truck driver raised his box and took the wire. It was an accident. He's got insurance. I've talked to Comcast, or it's not Charter, and it's gonna get taken care of by the truck driver.
So it was just cable.
Cable wire, but it took down poles. It was gonna be an expensive deal. But like I say, I presented it to the board, and the board agreed that's the best interest for the township, and that's what we did. So that's all I got to say. Anybody else?
So the gravel truck wasn't.
Nobody got hurt. I mean, it was his fault.
Okay. I was just a little confused there.
Nope, that's fine.
Well, I am honored and privileged next year to be able to serve on our library board as county commissioners have appointed me. I am well-read in our Bible. I serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and He's always first. So, very familiar with the NASB 2020 and the NKJV, so
Congratulations.
thank you.
Okay, any more board comment?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I feel like under the circumstances, I do have to defend myself. Because for one, Ken, had I jumped on your back and hit you, I guarantee the police would have been here because you would not have been able to get up. Cheryl would have seen it, Corinne would have seen it. And for you to say that I did that really changes your character. And I called you in here because it wasn't the road commission stuff. It was the other things that you stated that we were doing not accurately. And I wanted to show you that we were with the meeting. And I only one time said to you that I thought this was directed to him. Because I thought you and I had a better relationship than that. Obviously, no. I never went up to that lady and even said anything. The only thing I said to her was when I went over to see Bob Rapson is that if I would have known I was going to be on camera tonight, I would have dressed up for it. I did not go in her bag. I would never do that. And you know what? It's on video if I did go on her bag, so maybe you should watch it. That's all I got to say.
Okay. And Ken, as far as signing the paper, that's the FOIA stuff. We're not here to hide anything. Everybody's good, but I just want to leave it at that. We're not hiding anything from nobody.
Every politician says, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. You're just a citizen, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what, fine, that's great. That's the way it is.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Did you
Oh,
have anything to say?
I'm good.
Cheryl?
I asked that once. I was like, Cheryl, did you have anything?
I just was I was confused about the road commission thing a little bit, they clarified it,
Okay.
and
Wayne, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I thought I asked it before.
Yep.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting
Support.
at 7:09.
How many supports do you want?
So what is this? For dinner?
I understand what's going on with life. I understand what's going on. That doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't know what he's doing.
So,
I really get an attitude
Michelle,
No.
next Wednesday?
Put theirself above other people.